Boop, boop, boop,
Turn
boop.
off this music.
Yeah, I need to turn Smite music up because or else chat hears nothing. Because I have the main volume down so much. There we go. Okay, so, and let me fix this too. While I'm thinking about it, spectator blue team.
Are you taking chair 2 practice or are you playing chair 1? Or what are you doing?
I'm down for whatever, man. I got chair 2 practice last night, so if you want chair 2 practice, I can do chair 1.
Whatever you want to do.
It literally does not matter to me.
Your stream, your choice.
I actually, fun fact, I have never chair 1.
Do you want to try?
Sure, why not, dude? We can make it happen.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Okay, so this is for blue team. We have Lambys girls, and for red team we do have Mystic Esports. This is the grand finals, game 5 of the Albion Giants League. It is me, Blaze McBain, and with me we have Killjoy. Killjoy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Really excited for this game 5 matchup. Obviously, we didn't get 1, 2, 3, or 4, but we got the one that matters. It's the best of 1 at this point, and it's all the marbles.
It is. And game 5s are the best because it's like it doesn't matter what happened before. If you can just wipe the mental, like if it's a reverse sweep, the team needs to wipe the mental. If it's been this back and forth set the whole entire time, it comes down to the game 5, and it's like, okay, we got this best of 1, and we have to figure out what worked in the games that we happened to win up until this point, and what really, really, really went wrong.
And just based off the bans too right now, you can see that Kakulin being banned out, maybe that was something that was played earlier on that they don't want Lambys girls to have back. The Sung Wukong also sticks out to me right away. Maybe that's something that Mystic Esports played early that went really, really well, and they want to take that out here in game 5. And just the top 3 picks, Cupid can't go wrong with a good team fight ultimate. Discordia could be another one, though. That is, we want to take this away. We want to play this again. And Discordia is such a good character because she just brings a strong passive of getting extra damage to whoever. And pairing that alongside a King Arthur, who is more than likely going to be hitting the other solo laner a lot of times, is going to help pressure out that solo lane. So I'm expecting to see Mystic Esports lean towards that solo lane.
Yeah, especially where they go ahead and get rid of budget King Arthur, right? Like the Kuka lane's gone. So the one thing we usually see go into this King Arthur pretty regularly is the Kuka lane. And again, you mentioned the Discordia passive. It's going to feel really, really good in this game. Because at this point, it doesn't matter who you get in your mid and your carry. Eventually, anybody could get this passive, and it changes the 1v1 drastically in those lanes. We do see a Cabrakan picked up here. One of my favorite things to see picked up at this point is flex picks. And Cabrakan offers that where we've seen him in 3 roles. Really, I guess you could say 4. We've seen him in solo, support, jungle, and I missed a role. Mid. We have seen him in mid.
The ever-rare mid.
The ever-rare mid with the Rangda's mask. So I really do like seeing these flex picks. Obviously, jungle is going to be off the table with them locking in this Kali. And what do you think? Do you think we're going to get our carry here, or do you think they're going to go for something a little bit different for Mystic Esports?
X-Ball's still on the table. I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe lean over to that pick. I'm really shocked about the Kali. I casted the semifinals game for Lambys girls, and Zealous played a really sick Daji. I think that guy is incredibly good right now. Kalina also still available for the jungle picks, and I'm really surprised because Cabrakan and Cupid don't have the best time into a Daji, and this is just kind of giving over this pick to Mystic Esports that could allow them to really have a good game into what's already been drafted as well for Lambys girls. Kali doesn't have the best matchup after she pops the ult. She can still get pulled in, doesn't have that CC immunity. Beads are going to be a pressure item here for Mystic Esports, so I would love to see them pick up a Daji here. Go ahead and ban out mages that have some CC immunity, such as that Yu Huang, as well as like a Morgan Le Fay, because she's another one that really hinders that Daji ability to get in there. And then you come back around and just lock in some more beads burning abilities. Maybe a Xing Chen to strip away some of those beads. Could look really good for Mystic Esports as this draft goes on.
Yeah, I'm also surprised not to see the Daji. In my opinion, she's probably the top 3 junglers in the game right now. You basically get mini Ares ult. You just can't run around while you're doing it. And to not see that picked up by either of these teams early on, and not only that, see Terra picked up over the Daji is pretty insane. I do expect that if I'm Lambys girls, I am banning out the Daji at this point. She just brings so much to the table, especially with these dive comps. You see that King Arthur, Terra, and last thing I want is a Daji with Discordia passive. So I think we're going to see it banned here. We do see the first ban of phase 2 bans is going to be the AMC, followed by the there's the Daji ban. what we've been talking about. And I think that's very important here. It does force a different jungler, but there are so many available at this point, with really only Lancelot being taken off the table. That's another jungler. I'm kind of curious to see where Mystic Esports decides to lean their jungle pick towards, or if it's going to be a last pick situation. They do end up banning Tiamat, not something we've seen a ton of play of. And then the last ban for Lambys girls happens to be this Hun Bat, another jungle pick that brings a ton of CC and burns a lot of beads. So I think that's two really good bans by Lambys girls. Curious to see what Mystic Esports picks up here in this first slot of the Phase 2 picks.
Touching on some of these bans here, Blaze, the AMC makes a lot of sense to me. Knowing Dustbutt, he loves his AMC mid. He's got a tank build, he's got a damage build, and it's scary both ways because that Stinger still hits you for half your health bar. The Terra pickup was odd to me, but I guess they just really thought they might ban it out. Maybe it was something that was prioritized in the last couple games that we didn't get to see, and it looked really good, and it's why they want to take it now ahead of time. I like the Hun Bats ban. I think that's probably what the next look is for Mystic Esports after that Daji, though Kalina is still available. Ravana obviously is open. You can see it on your screens now, getting locked in. This is another really good pick. He has a pretty good matchup, and Cupid can really chase down. Also limits a little bit more of this mid god pool of what Dustbutt wants to play. The Tiamat still is a questionable ban for me, knowing Dustbutt. I don't think he's very a fan of the Tiamat pick, so that's kind of almost a wasted ban. Honestly, I would have liked to see a Chang'e ban. I know he plays a lot of Chang'e, and that is one that would really have a good time into King Arthur, into Discordia, into Terra, even in the Ravana, being able to have an immunity for another immunity. That always feels great.
Yeah, I like this pick with the Ravana here. Again, this dive heavy comp that we're kind of seeing getting put together here by Mystic Esports. And I do agree. The AMC ban, really, really good. The last thing you want to deal with is not only just a Stinger that's going to not only shred your pots and take away your health, but you have to deal with the slow, you have to deal with the beehives that provide movement speed. There's just so much that AMC brings. We are going to see a Merlin get hovered here, and I'm a very big fan of the Merlin mid. He provides the objective shred you want. He provides a good amount of, soft CC. And overall is just a good pick in the mid lane right now, especially into this disco. I think it's going to feel pretty nice. And he's relatively safe with that flicker. And then the last pick here is going to be this Nike. Nike is not someone we have seen really at all as of late. And I'm curious to see, do you think this Kabraken's going solo or is it going support? It's not obviously not going jungle, but you think, is Nike going solo or support?
So here's my real big prediction. Surely this is a Nike support Kabraken jungle Kali solo. Obviously, when we're looking at this, that's got to make the most sense. But realistically, definitely Kabraken support. I think he fits that role the best currently. I think gods that have walls such as Ymir, such as Kabraken, and the Emoja are just so strong because they really just change up the side of the map. The Nike, though, is what's really questionable to me. The Merlin, I'm kind of iffy on. They don't have a lot of mid-pressure between that Kali and Merlin, but once Kabraken rotates in, it's going to get a lot better. That will help a lot of it. But this Nike, that just seems very odd to me. They could either easily go a Sunder, they can even go an Ankh and get the upgrade Ankh to slow down that shield. Cupid has a little bit of healing. Kali will not have a good time into an Ankh either. She pops her ultimate. So I feel like relic usage is going to be very strong for Mystic Esports. They locked in the X-Ball at the end, turning off the lights on somebody on top of a Terra ult. You're almost guaranteed to get those Terra procs off on that ultimate if X-Ball is hitting their autos. And that's always the important thing as an ADC is, can you hit your autos and are you going to be useful? And this should be an easy team to be useful with. They have a lot of AoE control. This Scorio is going to be able to slow people down, strife them up. X-Ball able to convert off of that strife and do a lot of damage.
So before we hop into this game, I have 3 questions that need to be answered. Are we going to see 4 mana core spikes?
4 mana core spikes between both teams? Probably. I don't think there's a world that we don't. I think we might honestly see 5. I think Ravana might even pick one up because he can kind of lean into her tankier build, and that might really benefit what he likes to do. And that item is just so stat efficient. So I think that's a really good look for the majority of these players.
If we see 5, I'm immediately messaging Majin, because this was like the rolling thing yesterday with our cast was like, what's the over under on mana core spikes? Like, so, and then, what was my next question? I had 3 good questions. I remember 2 of them.
Well, give me another one you remember.
I was going to say, who do you think's going to take it? Do you think it's Mystic or do you think Lambys girls based off these comps?
Off the comps, I think Mystic Esports is going to jump out to a really strong early lead just between the X-Ball and Discordia. It's going to allow those backliners to get a lot of farm. If they can get through this early game ahead about 3 to 4K, they'll be in a good spot. If they can shut Kali down early, they can shut Cupid down early, shut down Merlin very early. They should have this in the bag. It will take Lambys Girls way too long to get online in this game to really impact it. Impeachable Gates on this Cabrakan is something he's known for. It is tried entry for him. It looks really good, but he does stop out of position with this pick a lot of the time. And granted, that's just because it's Cabrakan, and I've said it before, this is an inty guide. If you're playing it, you're getting in there and you're looking like you're inting, but a lot of the times it will work out. If they start picking him early, on top of keeping these backliners behind, Lambys Girls is going to have a very difficult time getting to the late game spot that they want to be in.
Yeah, when I see Cabrakan, the first thing I always tell people is this is the W key god. You have to play him that way. There's no other way to play him, because if you're playing safe, you're not using the God's Kit the way it's supposed to be used. And it's super unfortunate because it does dictate a certain playstyle for your team. So that'll be curious to watch. I do agree, this early pressure is going to be very much in favor of Mystic Esports. So if Lambys Girls can at least try to stay even here and not fall too far behind, I think it'll be a nice competitive game. I remember my other question does Might on this Terra hold the wave? Does he take walls and hold the first wave? That's my big question, because I'm a big fan of it.
I really hope not. I think it slows down the clear on top of that green buff. They have an X-Ball paired with them as well for Snide. It should be really easy to clear all their buffs. They'll get to the lane probably a little bit ahead, honestly, of a Cupid. Cabrakan Tricks could be able to pressure, but they're going to have the wave pressure. X-Ball just gets free wave pressure, basically. If Might steps up and blocks 1 to 2 autos from St. Thomas, they're going to have pressure just automatically. And that's like the best thing to do as a support right now, is just get in the face of the carry, not allow him to clear the wave, because there's a good chance that the support's not going to be able to do it. Granted, as a Cabrakan, he's going to walk up and Tremor. So you could even clap him right away and then go stand in front of the X-Ball, and then you're really guaranteed pressure. So I don't know if I'm starting the wall on the minion wave as it comes out. I think I'm just taking it up to the first wave, clapping off that Cabrakan, and just letting this X-Ball farm.
I agree. It's just, I had to ask, we see it every once in a while. So let's hop on into game number 5 of Mystic Esports versus Lambys Girl. This is the grand finals of the Albion Giants Conference. And, we're going to see how it goes between these couple of teams here. And let me give me 1 second and I'll get everything set up in the game. Oh my God, the music's loud.
Take your time setting it up.
Yeah,
we got plenty of talk about just looking at these two teams. I mean, it's hard not to get excited about a best of 5, right? Especially as it starts getting distance. You start getting to that game 4, like, oh, maybe this will go to that game 5 and get really excited. And then when it gets to that game 5 and it's all the marbles on the table, who has momentum, who doesn't have momentum? It started off as a 2-0 for Mystic Esports. They're looking to close it out in 3. Lambys Girls bring it back. Games 3 and 4 tie it all up to bring us into this game 5 situation. And this is where all the stress levels are high, right? The momentum's in Lambys Girls' favor. That's always a good start, especially with this comp that they have. They have a late game team comp. If they have the momentum to carry themselves to this late game, they're in a good spot. Mystic Esports brings the pressure, though. So they're saying, hey, let's reset the mentals. We were up, but that's okay. It's all down to 1 game. We can just get in here, take our lead back how we had it in games 1 and in game 2, and then just run it down from there. Not allow this Kali to get online, not allow this Merlin to get up to that late game damage potential that it will absolutely shred on. Not allow this Cupid to do anything on this map. And that's where I want to see Austin play as well, Baze. I want to see him in this duo lane running at this Cupid on cooldown. He doesn't care that he has an ultimate. This Fields of Love is going to do nothing to this Ravana if he's playing it right and is able to immune out that damage.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've been talking to a lot of people about when I'm on cast, is they're like, okay, what's the way you want to see this game play out? What do you think these teams need to do? And I always tell people, I think early on, you need early pressure in duo lane, because early pressure allows you to get the Nagas, it allows you to get the Harpies that are in the old Draugr camp, and then you start to kind of get this lead going. You can start invading purple, and it really just has a lot going on over there in duo. It gets you cup control, and at that point, that's a scary time if you're on the team that's not getting all those things. So getting that early duo pressure, I think, is really important. Sometimes we don't see that. We see a lot of junglers want to focus the mid 3v3 or probably try to get a pick in solo. I don't think either of these solo gods are going to be falling early. Well, let me rephrase that. The only time they should be falling is early to a jungle gank. I think as this game goes on, they're going to be too tanky, and really you start out to think about, okay, well, who am I diving? Well, if I'm Austin, the only way I'm diving Merlin is the flicker's down. But this duo lane looks real nice with Kabrak and Cupid. This looks like something I can get on top of. I have my CC immunity, and overall, I should be running there looking to do something. And early on here, we do see both the duo lanes, get there around the same time. And the Tremble is what goes well here for Impeach Bill Gates. You see the dash in by St. Thomas looking for this extra poke. And things are going in favor with Lambys girls with this early clear, with that just a little bit earlier arrival to the duo lane, and they will hit level 2 first. And now, getting that pressure that I talked about early on. On the other side of the map, though, we do see a 2v2 going on.
I can't believe he either started his 3 or his dash, and obviously if he starts his dash, he's definitely not dashing that first wave. But that just feels really off to me because he just is essentially giving up that lane pressure. And I feel like this team could have definitely looked to play for that early pressure with this Terra. Now she's going to go ahead, try to get a little bit extra damage. Good peel from Bill Gates. And you mentioned a little bit about that solo lane. They shouldn't really fall unless it's early game. And that's kind of where I wanted to see Austin play on that first wave, play for that totem, and just try to put down this Nike just a little bit earlier. It's one of those guys that she doesn't have her jump online yet. This god is easier to kill, but once Sushi has it on at level 2, it should be just fine. But it's just one of those things where you could still look for it. But again, this dual lane now, this is where they're getting their pressure. Once they have their abilities online, they didn't really care about that first wave. This is where the pressure starts coming out.
Yeah, I think once we see this like level 3 kind of roll around, we're going to be like, okay, things should start moving inside the Mystic Esports. I do agree. I think that something must have been weird with the leveling for the Terra there. I would not have initially taken the dash if that's what was taken. But this is going to punish this Kabrakan who just wants to trimble the waves for clear. And this stun just comes through and says, no, you don't get to do damage. You're going to get put on cooldown, and we're going to make you wait. And that waiting will become a problem. It's causing Lambys Girl to go over here to these Nagas and actually think about, hey, okay, we got to get this because Mystic Esports are going to step up with this duo lane and try to, clap the Nagas there, looking to take them away. But over on the right side of the map, we do see King Arthur's a little bit low, getting some help with his blue buff. No invades going off as of yet. Pretty evenly going. We do see that Cranker here is going to get a free wave, and I expect Scandal will be teleporting back in. Yeah, teleport is on the table there. But right now, just back to the farm game of, early on Smite when there's not fights happening, you go get all the camps and hope for the best. But right now, build-wise, nothing too interesting on the table that I can see. What are you looking for, I guess, in the mid lane here for either team to kind of get the advantage?
Right now, it is all in the relics. You said it's basically identical. You looking at it. The only differences build-wise right now is between the Watcher's Gift and the Benevolence on the sports. Everything else is essentially identical. I guess Zealous has a katana instead of the Transcendent start for Austin, but that just kind of leans into which each character wants to build. But it's the shell and the blink on the supports that's different, and that's what needs to be looked at as it starts going to this mid-game rotations. Impeach Bill Gates wants to get active early on, but you have to remember, he has a Kali on his team. He doesn't always want to get early. The Kali that is wants to get in fights early game, but Impeach Bill Gates is going to want to get in there, and the follow-up damage is going to be kind of lackluster until maybe the 12-minute mark when the Merlin finally gets a couple of those items into their build, and that's where that shred starts really coming through. So this blink early game for Impeach Bill Gates should be used a lot more in this dual lane. Try to look for a couple cheeky plays, try to stop the Exbalanque dash when they can, not getting started out and not losing their health bar. Otherwise, this blink is not going to be useful until a later game, and you honestly could have just gone for maybe a sprint or even an onk early on.
Yeah, I think Blink's an interesting choice here because it's very punishable. Unless you can, once you hit level 5, obviously you can blink in, try to get the ult stuns and all that good stuff. But really, it's a risky play here early on, especially in this game 5 scenario. It's really like, hey, I'm going to put all my marbles in one basket and hope for that I can get aggressive early and get something out of it. And so far, we have not seen that pay off as the blink does go off here, along with the Fields of Love. They are looking to try to get Ensnide here. Ensnide still half health, is going to be able to make it under the tower, and they get literally nothing for the double ults there and the relic usage. Mystic Esports needs to just walk out and heal up. Super unfortunate there for Lambys girls duo lane trying to make something happen, and a whole lot of nothing came to fruition there. Besides, I guess, a little bit of lane pressure, but that's not really much right now as Ensnide's really happy to stand back and, regen some health.
And he just had to burn his beats for that. And that feels really good because after that Cupid ultimate comes down, uses all the hearts in that passive for Cupid. So next time Ensnide gets hit by that heart bomb, he's going, okay, there's no way you managed to get 8 autos in before you dashed up here and then hit me with that heart bomb. So he's not getting stunned on that. So you just have to beads out that initial damage. Sure, his dash was already down. He has to walk back out of the tremble. But once you get outside of that, Cupid had a dash so far forward because of that blink from Impeach Build Gates. It's nearly impossible for that follow-up damage to come through. And that's kind of what we were just talking about, Blaze, is he's going to blink in, but there's going to be very lackluster follow-up damage in the mid lane, in this ADC lane. The only where it might be beneficial is in the soul lane. But are you really ganking a King Arthur as a Cabrakan? Maybe that could be the play, but you're going to need Zealous over there. You're probably going to need Dustbutt over there as well just to do any sort of damage, because King Arthur, once he gets the Sav online, which he's probably backing for right about now, yep, he's got it online. You're not doing much to this guy at this point. You're going to need some more of that magical damage, and he just does too much damage back that he could even turn that fight.
Yeah, what's really interesting to me here is the fact that we haven't really seen a really great gank come out from either of these junglers who really should want to get as active as possible right now. We do see a slight little level disparity between them, with Zealous being probably like half a level, maybe 3/4 of a level down. But overall, it is interesting to see that neither of these jungles have come away with first blood at 6 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, where I expected this to be at least pretty aggro early game based off the junglers we had and just the comp that Mystic Esports drafted. But they are looking a little bit cheeky over here in the mid lane with Dustbutt and Impeach Bill Gates looking for something, but such a great Stife as they stand on a ward. And Might's over here as well. They might actually end up paying the price for this little cheeky gank they went for. The apple is out, only connecting with Bill Gates. Really nothing to come of that. We see the lights get turned out as well, and overall just a lot of poking going on, some ults expended, and really nothing much else is happening. Austin does come through, pokes out Zealous a little bit, and now we're just back to farming simulator for the time being, I suppose, as Dustbutt and Impeach Bill Gates do look for something else here on the left side but end up letting it go. So as you were talking about with the sovereignty, it's online for both of these solo laners. At this point, ganking them is going to become really difficult. Where do you expect these junglers to put their pressure? Do you think it's going to be a mid, or do you think it's going to go somewhere over to the duo lane at this point? Because one of them has to come away with something here soon.
I don't think Zealous is ganking for the next 7 minutes, I'm going to be honest with you. He's on Kali. He's happy with how this game is going right now. It's even. And if you're Lambys girls, this is perfect for exactly how you want to play. You want to incubate your mid laner, you want to incubate your ADC, and you also want to incubate your jungler. These are all later game hyper carries, especially Akali, who is known for her late game prowess. Just farming until then? Sure, sign me up if you're the Lambys girls. This is just an easy game for you. It's Mystic Esports that I'm worried about. Austin has done nothing on this map besides farm. He's on Ravana. He has such early gank potential that he should just be going with Might to whatever lane. They should be ganking St. Thomas on cooldown. Force out the ultimate, force out the beads, and then just go kill him. Really good double stun for him, and he should be fine. As soon as his clap comes through, he should be able to dash out. He should be under no duress, has the ceiling. Once they can force his ultimate and his beads, that's when Austin needs to be here to fight with them. If they can find this synergy from their mid laner, their jungler, and their support to get a gank off on this dual lane, that's where they need to go. They have such an aggressive early game comp. They need to be using it, and they're just really not.
Yeah, it's really surprising that Austin hasn't come away with a kill yet, or at least, you know, set up a kill, I guess I should say. I agree. You really want this Kali to just farm. And right now, nothing too crazy is happening. Now, we do see Kali over here hitting the totem, maybe looking for something over in the solo lane. I don't think Scandal's low enough to really want to dive in upon, but nothing wrong with the Kali being over here to set up the fact that, you know, they could get their own blue buff, but they look like they might be going for an invade here, along with a little fight over the Scorpion as well. Blue buff is secured by Mystic Esports, but now the fight over the Scorpion takes place. Might looking for something here. Might get something ready, and nothing. They get a good stun onto Impeach Bill Gates, but Merlin getting a nice little bit of CC there to slow them down with the pull as well. The apple's out there. Impeach Bill Gates might be in trouble here. Ends up being able to walk out and get away.
What was that wall?
I don't know.
Assume if I'm playing support, right, and I'm trying to run away, I'm just using the wall to put space between me and everybody else. Ensnide taking a lot of damage from St. Thomas. He should be fine for this moment. Has good clear with those branching bullets. Shouldn't take anything else. But that's such a weird wall. I'm sure he like thought to turn around, but it was just like, nah, we're just gonna ult right here and I'll just walk around it, which is fine. They did end up sealing that Scorpion away, so it's really good for Lambys girls. And I like that little bit of early aggression. Do a little bit of a damage check. Try to see what Mystic Esports is willing to commit into that fight. They used the Terra ultimate, they used the Discordia apple, and they turned out the lights all at the same time. Granted, I think Ensnide was more so trying to get himself out of danger with that ultimate. And Lambys girls, all they have to do is just use the Cabrakan ult. That's really all they lose at that point. I mean, St. Thomas did burn his Fields of Love, but he was probably going for that solo kill onto Enside, and that's realistically where that comes out. And now they're going to get their own Scorpion, which is really awesome because this is now like a basic Gold Fury that they've just picked up, and this is going to propel a lead for them. You can see it slowly starting to grow up over 1K now. This is great for Lambys girls. This is not where you want to be for Mystic Esports, and the pace of this game, Blaze, I feel like is because it's Game 5. With everything on the table, everyone's being so cautious, and Lambys girls just have such a good draft for it, but this might be a good gank.
Is able to just to dash out. St. Thomas is just, getting to trying to chill there. And I do agree. This is what happens in Game 5 sometimes, where you get like, you're like, okay, this is for all the marbles, and in this case, all the gems, right? Like, you want to not only win and have that bragging rights, but there's a nice prize pool to go along with it. And you start thinking about, okay, I don't want to be the one to make the mistake. I don't want to be the reason that we lose. And sometimes that causes this apprehension, but this apprehension works in favors of Lambys girls here, where they have such a late game draft compared to Mystic Esports. I will say, I do like the fact that, we are seeing some fighting over objectives. I would expect, hopefully, Gold Fury gets pulled sometime soon. The problem with that being is one of these teams is going to have to get a pick or have such good ward coverage they know they can just get it, as St. Thomas is going in here looking for something, ends up having to walk out with nothing as those lights get shut off, and was about to walk into a gank if he stepped up too far.
What's crazy about that fight, too, is St. Thomas, all he has over Enside right there is a full stack Transcendence. Enside has a T2 balance blade at this point. He technically has just a little bit more attack speed damage to put into St. Thomas. It's just that Fields of Love ultimate is so good in Expo. You can catch that dash. You can realistically set yourself up for an easy solo kill if they don't have beads. And Enside didn't have beads at that point. They're still on cooldown for about another 20 seconds. And going to your gold point, I wouldn't be surprised if they start looking for it right now. I was going to say, as soon as St. Thomas gets that next item, whether it be an Executioner, whether it be this Fail Not that he has online, that's where he spikes. That's where they can start looking for it. Dustbutt has the Divine Rune online now as well. He's got really good damage, but he's under pressure in the mid lane.
And this is a big fight in the mid lane. The Apple's already out. The Trembles are coming through, but they are looking for Dustbutt here. Might ends up going in, ends up has to step out, which is probably a good thing, as the Kali was coming up to try to, meet them in the mid lane. Instead, clears this red buff here. Got a nice little fight happening. Austin looking to step up here, and Impeach Bill Gates could be stepping into a problem with 3v1 happening, and his team is a little bit behind here. Good damage put out by Dustbutt, but instead Austin's having to retreat. The Cabrakan walls are very, very good. It force out the Ravana ult so he can't come back in, and now Lambys girls are gathering in this mid lane looking for something. The Fields of Love come out. There's the beads off of Inside, and this is where this could start being a problem for Mystic Esports. Might is in trouble, and this Terra has to dash out, and now the lights get turned out, just trying to stall out the aggression of Lambys girls, and it does do just that, as Zealous does get caught in a strife, but that should be the end of that fight. And a great turnaround there by Lambys girl, really kind of baiting Austin in to try to go in on Impeach Build Against, and they were successful. And you know what they're going to get as their reward here is possibly a Pyromancer. Instead, Scandal does step up and just interrupt that. Snack Burrito was hovering. What's that?
They get nothing.
They do get
absolutely nothing. They don't get First Blood. They don't get Pyromancer. They don't get Gold Fury. They're just fighting and then standing and looking at each other. And it's crazy to me because Dustbutt did so much damage there on that Maroon. That looked really good.
Yeah.
But Austin walked right past Impeach Bill Gates, who stood between three people and was like, yeah, cool, they're not hitting me. Like, what are you guys doing? Just hit him. Like, at some point, he's going to get low enough that you will be able to kill him, or you will have good follow-up damage. But I don't think Snack Burrito is going to be doing a lot of damage. He has the Soul Gem online, which I'm not a fan of in this slot. I think Staff of Mirrodin is just such a better item here. You're going to get good early damage. You're going to get good follow-up damage as well. Also, you might just want a little bit of pen. This team comp gets a little bit tankier as this game goes on. You might have a better chance at killing Impeach Build Gates on this side of the map. And as you can see, he's taking this apple, and his health bar did not move.
But he did run it right into Zealous, which is really, really disorienting when you're the jungle wanting to, try to get some damage off there. But I do agree. I was hoping that, somebody was going to get something out of that fight, but no, not really. The gold lead's about the same that it already was. It's about 1,200 gold. Maybe it's going a little bit back towards Mystic Esports side. They are looking to get the Scorpion, which could be huge here. Zealous actually does step up, and there's a good stun by Zealous, looking to get this damage out. The Odibo prots are coming through, doing work, but again, nice little skirmish happens over the Scorpion, and for what? As they go and like sort of pull the Pyromancer, but really nothing.
I can't even tell who got that Scorpion either, just because they're both really low end side, though. This might be the time he falls down. St. Thomas is going to find himself the first blood over here in the dual lane, and that is massive, Blaine. That is really going to go ahead and shoot this forward, and now Zealous is the one sticking on Snake Burrito.
Yeah, 15.5 minutes into the game, we finally see the first blood fall, and you know what's crazy is I think we're going to see the second one come through as well. As a Strife that saves his life was absolutely insane, but instead Zealous gets the reset on Snake Burritos there, and we are now 2-0 in favor of Lambys Girl. Might is looking to try to stop this Gold Fury, and I don't know if he's going to be able to do it by himself, but Scandal and Austin are making the rotation over as well. St. Thomas has to fall off that Gold Fury pull. Dustbutt now in trouble. The Beyblade is coming, but the Beyblade is stopped. Austin jumps over the wall and puts down Dustbutt, and now Scandal looking to do anything he can to stop St. Thomas. St. Thomas's Aegis comes through. Really good play there by the Terra ultimate, but now Scandal is in trouble, having to retreat as Cranker has made the way over. Zealous looking to get engaged. Great route there by Austin, and what ends up happening is the ult comes through by Zealous, and Zealous is going to be able to walk out with that fantastic Kali ultimate that's always just as irritating as it always seems. It's never not irritating when you're fighting a Kali. That ultimate goes off. It's practically the same thing as Khepri ultimate, because if they kill, then they kill their target, they get a full health bar, and you're like, oh great, that's actually better than Khepri ultimate. So really good play there by both teams, really. I mean, Lambys Girl come out with the lead, but I really like that Mystic Esports played that the way they did, and were able to get a pickup, at least on Dustbutt over at that red buff. You got to feel pretty good about it when there's that slight lead in Lambys Girl favor that you can fight back into it.
Especially because it's on Zealous too, Blaze. He picked up 2 kills in that. 3 of those kills, 2 went to him, 1 went to the ADC who got the solo kill, which gives him a 2-level lead. Like, look how fast that just automatically, sporadically jumps you in that level department, in that long lane. You're able to farm so efficiently if you get another kill on the other ADC, because there's most likely not a jungler coming over at that point, because if you solo, if there's already a gank happening, they're probably there, and it's not a solo kill anymore. It's a 1v2, and you're looking really good. And if you fall, sure, fine, whatever. But if nobody else is there, you're going to be able to farm all this. Now Snake Burrito's put himself in a really bad spot.
Oh, Apple comes through, but not fast enough to save him from the Fields of Love. And now the aggression is coming up by Lambys Girl. Zealous goes in. They're looking for Might next. Austin falls into the backline looking for Dustbutt. Dustbutt has another great beads and Aegis. Does it save his life, though? For now, it does, as he runs circles around Austin. Finally ends up falling. Zealous was in trouble, but now turns it around with the ultimate. This is absolutely insane with the health bar. St. Thomas says, hey, I will save you. I will be the support that you need for the time being, as Impeach build gates makes the rotation over. They pick up Inside, and now Scandal is in trouble here. St. Thomas on the triple kill, looking to see, can he make it a quadra? And they are looking to make this happen as the health bar is dwindling away on this King Arthur. He's looking to do anything he can to escape, and will it be a quadra? The dash in. Cranker says, no, you don't get a quadra. I did enough damage to take it for myself, and now the Gold Fury will be the prized possession of Lambys Girls, as Snake Burrito and Might are on the way in, looking for a potential steal here at the half health mark. They will be able to make a play for it. The Strife a little bit off the mark to catch both of them, but the Apple is really good here. And they do slow down and reset the Gold Fury, but guess what? Fields of Love is back, baby, and it takes down Might again.
They're getting right back on this Gold Fury here, Blaze. Really good call. That was 6 kills, essentially, in that team fight. They decided and got another one on top of that because of how the respawn timers are able to come back. And might try to get in there, and then just immediately fell because Impeach Gates found a good stun and put St. Thomas on 5 kills. Now, this ADC is exponentially shooting up these charges. Level 18, 3 over their counterpart, and this is such a good matchup for them to be in. They're able to pressure it out. That fail not was going so hard in that fight. The autos reign true. He finds some really good stuns, great heart bombs, just an easy triple kill. gotta give him that quadra there, bud. You just gotta give it to him, man. You can't just take that away. He worked so hard for that quadra kill. Would have felt so good, but he gets the other kill as they come back inside that gold 3 pit. And that's the first objective that goes down. And now this is the second objective that'll be going down, as Zealous is keeping that zone dutied out, and they're able to start exponentially growing this gold lead up over 6K now after this will go down.
Yeah, these graphs are just going in favor of Lambys girls right now. And really, one thing we want to talk about is we do see 2 mana score spikes have been picked up. As Sneckburrito gets a huge strike with the apple. He actually just walked in and deleted one person out of the game. Impeach Bill Gates will be the second. He might end up picking the triple kill up here on Zealous. What an insane play by Sneck. Austin picks up what would have been the triple kill. And this could be actually a fire giant for Mystic Esports here, as Scandal is zoning out Cranker. In a huge play there by Sneck to just say, hey, oh, you wanted that Scorpion? Well, the price is all of your lives. And now they are looking to pull this Fire Giant for free. Cranker is looking to walk his way in, and I don't know if there's going to be much for that. Cranker gets the ultimate off. Ooh, he's not dead yet, though. The Fire Giant's actually doing work here on Endside, and really, Cranker's doing a fantastic job of zoning here. Enside's going to fall to this Nike, and luckily, Mystic Esports picks up the Fire Giant, because if that had gotten stolen on top of it, that would have been absolutely devastating, as the killing spree comes out for Sneck here. Now 3-2-1, but they paid the price of losing their tier 2 tower and half of a Phoenix to St. Thomas.
Sneck went absolutely crazy. He put the team on their back and said, guys, this is finals. We're not losing this very hard. I'm going in and making a big hero play on this Scorpion. You gotta imagine that Lambys girls had to have known they were coming, but they don't have any wards there. It's all Mystic Esports. Great play from them to get in there. Sneckburrito going absolutely hammy. Salami so far being able to come back now, getting this Fire Giant. Sure, they lost it on their ADC player, but that's 20-minute Fire Giant. Could do some work, as now St. Thomas is being chased out by Austin.
Yeah, St. Thomas stayed trying to get that Phoenix, and now has to beat Aegis to save his own life. I thought Scandal would even get a little bit over-aggressive, but no, this Fire Giant play is absolutely huge. Impeach Bill Gates is the next on the menu to fall, along with this tier 1 tower. How is Impeach Bill Gates still alive? Finally taken off the map. The teleport comes through by Cranker, right into a Strife, just laying there for him by Sneck. Dustbutt looking to step up here and try to save this tier 1 tower. I'm not sure it's 100% worth it, but you know, maybe it is. Maybe this ends up working out to their favor. They do push them off, and now Mystic Esports are the ones on the retreat here. St. Thomas is back with the Fields of Love, confirms might with it, but it might fall. No, actually doesn't get out. Does get out. That's actually wild. And then St. Thomas now under pressure again. Scandal doing absolutely a ton of work here on this King Arthur from the time getting the teleport to the Phoenix to now. Just really keeping the combat going. St. Thomas looking at backing, but no, ends up saying, I'll just stay. I think I can go get my own purple buff, and does. So really a lot's going on here. Lots changed, but there's a 7,000 gold deficit for Mystic Esports here. How do they fight back into this game against Lambys girls?
That Fire Giant delays this game a little bit. That was really awkward around that T1. I think they could have gotten it. Impeach Bill Gates lasted way too long in the middle of 3 people for no reason whatsoever. But the split push that Zealous put in there during that fight, and that's why Lambys girls were chasing that out. Sure, you're not really wanting to take a 3-on-5 engagement, but you have a Kali split pushing down that right side who has a Hasten Katana, who has a Kin size. They will chew through that Phoenix if they get allowed to hit it. So that's why they needed to get those backs off. Mystic did, and they did finally eventually get it off. They were able to pull back, but now this Fire Giant isn't going to be too effective for Mystic Esports. It delays this game a little bit longer. They really wanted to get some of those towers, but with Endside falling early on after that Fire Giant, and then not making it to the time of that left tower by the time that fight was going off, they have to go back, reset. Maybe they can pick up this Gold Fury, but if I'm Lambys girls, I'm not caring too much that they have Fire Giant. You know, they're still up that 7-8K that you just mentioned. They can still fight into us. They're still very much so in the lead. The damage they're going to do is crazy in amount, but except Scandal does a lot himself.
Yeah, St. Thomas a bit in trouble here. Has to pop the Fields of Love to try to save himself. And he is getting fully aggressive to this tier 1 tower like it doesn't even exist. St. Thomas, great heal on top of him, but he should fall here. Might's the one that ends up getting the kills, and Peach Bill Gates does make the rotation in. Austin actually says, hey, Dustbutt, you're going to have to pop the Aegis if you want to live here. I don't care if there's a tier 2 tower up. Cranker is on the way too. This is a 4v3 near this Gold Fury that, you know, wouldn't be bad to pick up if you're Mystic Esports, just to have the extra damage on the Fire Giant later on. And now they're getting chased out. Back gets through for Scandal. And a full retreat is called for here by Mystic Esports.
They got to do it once more because you see Zealous on that right bird once more up there. Snake Burrito was the one that was back, and that's not the person I realistically want to send. That maybe I'm sending Budweiser. That might be a little bit better just to defend. I'm sorry, not Budweiser. Scandal defend against that Kali. They're the one that's probably going to survive the longest against the Kali and do the most damage back to the Kali while they're being dove. Granted, that Hasted Katana might shred through them just a little bit, but this game really picked up plays. After those first couple kills happened, everyone threw caution to the wind and are getting in there now. It's starting to really pick up. These fights are getting really scuffed. They're getting really awkward on how these players want to play around them, not positioning as well as they realistically should be doing. And this next Fire Giant coming up, it feels like it could go either way. Lambys girls have been out of position. They've been doing a lot of the split pushing. They might take a bad fight. And same for Mystic. Sure, they got it earlier, but it was off of a really big hero play from Snake Burrito. And now I don't know if they have that hero play in them. Currently having that Mirrodin and Obshard online, they will do damage to everybody, but I don't think they'll be able to survive long enough for this hero play to really get off.
And this is a free pull right now on this Gold Fury. It should not be free, as Inside does turn off the lights and they walk in. Might with a great player. Fields of Love comes out and all they do is they stall the Gold Fury pull here. Might now in trouble. They're looking for Ensnide. I think they might have committed a little bit here. The great walls by the Kabrakan here, but the shell is even better to get them out, as Zealous now in trouble with the Apple has to ult out. Ensnide still in trouble in the 1v3 on the left hand side. Zealous ends up popping to Austin, and now the low health bars of Mystic Esports could be a problem in the rest of this fight, but Might looking to try to turn it around with some great plays. And the jump in by Austin takes out Dust, but he is looking for more. Impeach Bill Gates still alive, barely. Might picks that up. Triple kill for Austin, and now the Gold Fury will be the reward for that play.
Who cares about the Gold Fury? Back and go to Fire Giant. You guys just team wipe them again. Sure, this Gold Fury is nice and you have 35 more seconds, but just back and go straight over the Fire Giant. Get the Gold Fury later on. This is a big swing for them. I can't believe that turned around. That was such a massive ultimate from Austin coming up and over the walls, and you could see Mike going right back in, and I was like, man, why is he getting in there? And then boom, right over top, Mystic Rush comes in and eliminates the health bars of both Dustbutt and St. Thomas. They're going to have to go back and dust their butts off as they respawn and have to come back and defend this Fire Giant. This is a crazy turnaround for Mystic Esports. They're within 2K now. This game is honestly in their momentum swing, and it's crazy to think about too, because Lambys Girls had such a good fight. They had 2 people pinned between 4, and they only lost 1 on the back end of things. Sure, we got a pop on Zealous. Sure, Inside fell. But it wasn't enough. A 3-man strife in that for Snack. You can't do it all, man. Somebody's got to bail this man out. And they went ahead and did it. They had Austin come in and help them out.
And now the Fire Giant pull goes in favor of Lambys Girl. The steal is good by Zealous, I think. And now this is a huge play by Lambys Girl, but now Zealous has fallen. Cranker is the next on the menu to go down. Fields of Loves comes through to try to slow down the aggression of Mystic Esports. It doesn't matter that Lambys Girl's got the Fire Giant. They are running it down. Saint now in trouble, getting a bunch of autos off on Scandal there to pick up the kill. And now they're walking into this oboe. Holy smokes, they're just chasing down St. Thomas, and I'm not sure that's the play with these towers up on the right side and the Treb pushing their right Phoenix. But wow, what a turnaround there. Great pickup and steal by Lambys Girl to get that Fire Giant, but a better play to say, hey, we're going to take some of the Fire Giant opportunity away, at least off of your Kali that does do a ton of damage, and off of your solo where you want that regen. Just a fantastic turnaround there, and maybe just not great zoning there for Mystic Esports. Obviously their ward coverage was at least decent, but I would have likened to see them do a little bit more about Cranker there, and knowing that Zealous was on the way through.
Bud got in there and hit 3 people with his knock-up. He hit 3 people with a Nike jump. You can't be letting that happen to you. That's why things get stolen just like that. All 3 damage dealers get knocked up. They don't do anything else. Zealous is able to come over the wall and just go, oh, cool, you guys are in there. I'm going to swipe this away really quick with an auto attack after my 2 goes off. You guys can't get it. Sure, it cost them the lives of both of them, but again, just like earlier, it prolongs this game. This is good for Lambys girls as well. It's giving them a little bit extra time. Sure, they're still in the lead with a little bit of a gold lead, but they have St. Thomas with the Fire Giant. On the last time we saw it, Enside was the one that lost it for Mystic Esports, but the ADC for Lambys girls has it, and that's what's important. The ADC is doing the most damage to these towers, but if he gets blown up here, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, that stun comes through and really just does a lot to St. Thomas having to fall back here. The big thing for Mystic Esports is just not to stand there and let him auto like they did on that chase down. The apple comes through. The snipe by Snack Burrito is absolutely insane. St. Thomas is gone. Dustbutt is next. He is low as Enside picks up Zealous, and this could be huge for Mystic Esports as they picked up 3. They're chasing down the last 2 remaining of Lambys girl. What an amazing fight that starts off with a fantastic stun, but the snipe by Snack Burrito, oh my god, does he have an aimbot or something? Because that was an insane throwaway of that apple. The tier 2 will go down here, and I'm expecting the Phoenix to go down as well, as Cranker is standing there wanting to defend, but I mean, how can you defend against this 5 strong here as they're running it down on this Phoenix? And I'm not sure they can go for the end because of how many towers are up, but they might be going for game here. They might believe in their damage, and they are gonna pull this. Cranker's there trying to defend, but it's 15 seconds until a teammate's up, and this is burning fairly quickly. Cranker gets out back to his fountain, but the Titan will go down, and Mystic Esports takes Game 5 of the Albion Giants League's Grand Finals. Holy smokes.
You can't end the game like that, man. They killed them on their own T2 and ran it all the way back down. Snake Burrito, I said it earlier, he's making the hero plays. He's trying to do it all, and somebody has to bail him out. Nah, screw that. He did it himself. He took out the carry. That was so important in that fight. Big Mystic Rush straight on top of the mid laner. Dustbutt had to fall, and as soon as those 2 go down, it gets really, really scary for Lambys girls. And then as soon as Zealous is gone, that's when it's red lights. The sirens are going. And for how this game went, how slow it was, those death timers creeped up really quick. It was 30 minutes. Those death timers were almost a minute long, if not some of them were a minute long, and it allowed them to walk all the way down, take out 2 a tower, a Phoenix, and then the Titan. They still had 4 towers up, Blaze. That was such a crazy end game. You can't ever end the game off that, realistically, is what it feels like. You see those, you're like, there's no way they can end here. That's probably what Lambys girls are thinking, but no. Mystic Esports knows how much damage their X-Ball is doing. They're able to walk in. They had everyone standing. They were able to just walk in and kill that Titan so quickly. It didn't matter on those respawn timers. They didn't have that Sentinel of Zeus from Nike to get in there and slow it down a little bit. There's no 3-4 man knockup for Budweiser this time. It's just his life gone, and the final hopes and dreams for Mystic Esports are the ones that come true. They're the ones taking home that big gem prizing.
I mean, just insane. Like 4 towers up, and you make the call to commit to the end. I need to know, because we have some of the players in chat. Who called it? Who called that you guys could end? Because someone had to be like, I don't know if we can. There's no shot that all 5 people were like, 4 towers up, we're ending the game. Because that is insane. Also, I don't care about how any of the other grand finals went. Snack Burrito has to be MVP.
For sure.
That snipe was absolutely insane, along with like the 3 strifes that led to them getting back into the game, being able to do what they wanted to do. According to Snack Burrito, Austin's the one that called that end, and what an insane play as a shot caller to call that ending, because that is such a hard thing to do. And overall, crazy game 5, and it was slow going. It was little by little, right? It was just like, hey, this apprehension you could feel building. I don't know if we should fight here. We get these little scuffles, and at 15 minutes and 30 seconds, the game just takes off. The last 14 minutes and 30 seconds of the game were just insane plays and people looking to fight to win the game.
Nick Brito carried that game. I don't know what you want to tell me, right? Like, you look at this, you're like, oh, but Austin went 8-1-7. Sure, the Ravana was going crazy. He got in there and hit a couple double Mystic Rushes, which also should never happen. You should have better spacing than that. But the utility that Snack Burrito's putting out, the Strife that hits 3 people and allows for the gold sweep where they got all 5 on a Dia side in left lane by that gold 3 that allowed them to get that Fire Giant. Absolutely ridiculous. Saves the life of his ADC, but he's able to get him out of there just off that one play alone. The snipe from the apple, it's the important kills that you get and the important setups that you have. He was able to root out Dustbutt in that last fight, which allowed Austin to get in there, Mystic Rush, and do all that damage. Really good play, and congratulations to them. And you just got to feel bad as well for Lambys girls. They got so far and so close, just couldn't quite get there. But once again, congratulations to Mystic Esports. What a game.
Yeah, congratulations to Mystic Esports. I mean, and yeah, it feels bad to lose, but that was an awesome game. And for the set to go 5 games, even if you lose that, you still feel good about your performance that you made it to game 5, right? Like, you feel like it might take a few days, but you're there and you're like, okay, we played really, really well. We got to finals. We showed up. We did what we needed to do, and we couldn't end it the last game. Because this did start off in game 1, game 2 going Mystic Esports, and then game 3 and 4 going in favor of Lambys girls. So for game 5 to go the way it did, I mean, shout outs to Mystic Esports for having the mental to be able to bring that back, because that is something very difficult to do.
I fully agree. That was absolutely insane to be able to come back from being up 2-0 to tied going into game 5. That's going to take a toll. But when you get a draft that looks like that and then play the game once you get to that mid to late game as they did, I don't think they were sweating at all. As soon as they got some of those fights, if you're in comms with Snack Burrito, you just got to be expected to be just hearing I got a 3-man strife. You're winning that game. As soon as you hear that, I'm throwing caution to the wind. I'm trusting full-heartedly into my mid laner. And side's like, yeah, man, you're saving me. I'm just going to keep outputting all this damage. Austin able to get back in there. Everyone played so well as they got in that late game too. Mike was putting his body on the line to get such a good setup for Austin, and it's not a surprise how that game ended with them winning it out.
Yeah, that was exciting. Thanks for joining me on the cast, man. That was a fun time.
Oh, always is.
Oh, you should cast game 1, please.
I don't have time for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would, but we already had to get a backup caster for tonight. I didn't feed game 1. That's the reason Scandals wants us to cast game 1 is he didn't feed that game.
That's fed that game. Either.
I don't think. I mean, like 0-3 and like 12 or whatever. I don't think that's bad.
That's insane.
I think that does it kind of feel bad? Like as the solo, you're like, oh, dude, I want some kills. Like you're like, I get it. You want some kills, but like you did so much that game that you can't be upset. Like there was a point, right, where you have Cupid on your Phoenix and St. Thomas is thinking, okay, I'm going to be able to get this. You teleport there and you held them in lane and chased them down, which led to them dying later on and making a misplay by Lambys girls. Like if you don't make that play, that causes like the ripple effects not to necessarily happen that did happen to Lambys girls in that situation. So you definitely can't be mad about that for sure. Bro, Scandals bullied them game 1 on Sung Wukong. Oh God.
I wondered why that Sung Wukong got banned. We mentioned it. I was like, that's such a weird top 3 ban. Somebody must have done something to someone that's just not getting played. But honestly, if I'm going 0-3 and like 12, 0-3 and 10 at least, I'm happy. I'm not upset at all with how that game's going. I don't care what role I'm in. I'm like, man, I'm doing everything to just play support this game.
Oh yeah, dude. If I'm 0-3 and 12 as carry, you're gonna hear me in comms going, "Don't worry, guys, I'm the new support." Like I am completely okay with that.
100%.
Like I'm like, oh, I get to play support this game. Sick. Didn't know I was getting a role swap. Not gonna hear me complain. Oh, but that was a good time, man. That was an awesome game. I wish I got more games like that to cast, because usually like you have like games that are like somewhat back and forth, or you get, but like so often like in regular season games, you get one that's usually like the first game might be really good and then like the second game's a stomp or something like that. So like it's always good to see a game that's like so back and forth there. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's crazy. You should definitely go watch that Valhalla one, and you should cast Valhalla if you ever get a chance, because some of those games go absolutely bonkers. We had the one last night it ended up going 3 games, and it was like Everyone was trying to end on each other. It was like team wipe and to try to end, team wipe and to try to
Oh
end. And
God.
it was insane. It was me and Spooky, and that was a sick cast.
Yeah, I'll go check it out. I'll look it up tonight because I can always watch it during like work tomorrow during lunch or whatever.
Okay.
Oh, that was a good time, man. Also, you know, good luck with So You Think You Can Cast. We're both in I'm calling it semifinals because I think that's what it is. Because like, right, it goes down to two next, and then it goes to one. But like, even though you are at number one and you won, you still have to cast. So
Really?
yeah.
I did not know that. I don't really know how it works. I'm just here to cast and have fun with it. I'm doing it
That's
for fun.
that's what I'm doing. I was like, all I did before the competition was solo cast. So I was like, hey, this is an opportunity to like cast with peeps. Yeah. Like it was wild, dude. Like I would run production and cast the entire game. Like I would do analysis and calls.
I don't know how you could like even have a voice after doing that. I did that once for a tournament. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that ever again. That was terrible.
I did it all the time. I would do like 3-game sets, and my voice, and the crazy part, it'd be on days I taught. So like my voice is like dead at night after that. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm gonna go to bed now. But no, it's been a lot better, like getting to cast with somebody and like learning more about like each role. So I don't know. I'm excited. It's been a fun time.
Yeah.
Also,
your chair one was good.
I've never done it before. I felt like because originally that's what I was going to run for in the competition, but I talked to a few people and they're like, hey, your analytics is pretty good, and with you not having a lot of experience like casting with somebody, it'd probably be easier to transition with chair 2. And I was like, okay,
that's true.
I could see that. Scandals, thank you for the follow, by the way. Appreciate it.
That's true. Yeah, because you ran a little long on some of the engagements, but I mean, even then, like it was still fine. Like you did fine casting chair 1. It was very good. If that was your first time with somebody, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling like there was a couple I was like, I need to stop because I'm so used to the analytics part. I get to talk about like why they did what they did.
Yep.
And like at that point, it feels so much easier to stop and talk because you're like, okay, I said what I needed to say. It's the chair 1's job to do what they need to do now. So no, that was a blast though. Thank you for joining me on such short notice. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I was just playing some games. Figured I'd hop in, get a cast together at some point soon. That was good timing.
Yes, sir.